What's up guys, Alex here with another GameMaker tutorial video. So we have our project set up here. This video is going to be all about the workspace, some quick things you can do to set up your GUI, some things that you might not know you're able to do in here. And we'll just go through it here from top left around. So first you have these quick buttons up here. They do the classic stuff, like this will close the project. You have new project, open project, save project. This right here will create executable, and we'll go over these in more detail, like this create executable. I'll explain that later once we get to that part in the project. But these ones right here you want to be familiar with. This is your debug, your play button, and your stop button. And so when you're going to run your game, you're going to be using manually play and debug. Debug is a special mode, and we'll explain that here later. Your clean, your some game options. And then this right here is a collapsible deal. So you'll notice our whole GUI is right there. Sometimes we'll want to just code. We'll have a big block of code here. So we can just click this and it'll clear out all these menus and we can work in a nice clean area. We can bring them all back clicking it. This turns on laptop mode. So if you're on a laptop, you can move your mouse over to the side of the screen and it'll automatically scroll. But yeah, this little area here to scroll in here, you can just use the mouse wheel, or you can press the mouse wheel down, click and drag. And yeah, this little area right here is where you'll do most of your work. You'll have objects in here. We'll make different, we'll see that. We'll create objects. We'll do some coding in here and stuff. But the thing you want to notice is up here we have different workspaces. So actually this is where the objects will go. This is like workspace here, and you can rename these to whatever you want. So what you might have, you might be working in two different workspaces. You might have one that's like your player workspace. You can name this here like player. You have all your player characters. You have a bunch of player sprite stuff, some code and stuff like that in here. You might have like an enemies workspace here, and so you have all the enemies open in this code. And this is way later once the game's kind of big and there's just a lot of code to deal with. You might have a third window that is like the code, how they interact between each other. That way you can just keep everything straight. The other cool thing you can do with these windows is they're totally like, you can pull them down, you can make them their own window, pull them to a second screen. You can add extra things in here now, or what you can do is try to drop them in, like, I guess you can't drop them here. With a couple of these different windows, like this one down here, once we get to it, this output screen here, sorry, let me pull this up. So this little output screen, so you have your workspace up here, the little output screen underneath will be whenever you're running a game here, you'll see different outputs on what's going on. So sometimes you'll get an error code, it'll tell you what line the error code is in. You'll have different options here, like we can search the whole game just using right click. If we right click, we bring up this menu here in the workspace, and it brings up, you can create any asset, any windows that are open, it'll show all the windows. So once we have different objects and stuff open in here, you can right click, just see all the different objects open in here. You can also use this search function here, so go to, and this is what this window down here will display. And if we had any code here, we might have a lot of stuff with players, but this will search all functions, anything with the word in it. So we might search like I don't know, mouse, see what comes up, and you have different like functions and controls. It might be the function in your game. You might be referring to a variable in your game, something you want to find. But this thing right here, once you run it, it'll display the output right here in this window. And these windows you can just open up. You can also pull it off, put it up here, make it its own floating dock. So all these windows are customizable. This whole thing is customizable. What I would do down here is you have the syntax and compile error. And when you are debugging, one of the things we'll do to set up this little workspace, when you're debugging code, it's nice to have these side by side. So one thing you can do is just drag this down, or I'm sorry, drag this right here, syntax error, right into compile here. And now they're side by side in one little deal here. So now when we run this, we'll be able to look at this code side by side, and it'll be kind of nice, be easier to use. Same thing with the asset browser. So another thing you should know is up here in this toolbar, we have the different layouts, the tools. You can open up any of these different menus in this Windows box. If you accidentally close one, it's right here. And then right here in layouts, if you ever just mess up your layout, you can just reset it back to start. If you get a certain layout you like, you can obviously save it and load that layout here as well. But here we're starting a new one, so we don't have any saved layouts. And then on this window here, we're going to open up this inspector. This is another thing you'll use a lot, but it opens up typically right here. And what this will do is allow us to, when we make an object, we'll be able to edit it right here. What I like to do is move this room editor over to this side, put it right in here, and then I move this, the little, wherever he went, the inspector here, over to this side. And now when we are actually working with objects, and we'll show you that in later videos, but when we're working with objects, we can edit them right here on the other side. And if we want to look at the room, we can edit all the room settings right here in this other tab. You can also just move these tabs in and out. You can get rid of it totally. This little button right here will open it up. So yeah, this whole space is totally customizable, and it makes it really easy when you start getting into coding. Also, when you have a window in here, you can always open it up as a tab. So you might be coding in an object, and we'll show you again later on. We'll be doing that, but again, just keep in mind that this is all customizable, and you can't really break anything. So just go nuts. Alright guys, that is it for the Workspace tutorial. If you do like this content, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and this is a new channel, so you can always say that you got in early, and we'll see you in the next video.